Welcome to Auto House, where today we will be working on changing the timing chain tensioner on my 2001 BMW 540i, as well as fixing some other little things that I had broken in a previous maintenance attempt. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to get the air filter box out of the way. So to do that, we'll have to use a flathead screwdriver. Makes it really easy to get these off. And then we'll take the air filter out once we get that off. So there's my air filter. Not too bad a shape, a little dirty from me grabbing it in the past, but overall in pretty good shape. It's only got maybe 8,000 miles on it. And then we'll also disconnect this right here, so we can take the top of this box off. There's two clips, one on the top and one on the bottom below. Just like that. I'll set that over here. Next thing you want to do is grab a 10mm socket, and you'll want to take this off in order to undo the main bolt holding on the air box. This is a pretty easy step to do. And the only other thing that's holding this box in here is there's a little hose clamp on the bottom there, and if you use a 1/4" socket that I adapt to my screwdriver, you can put it down there and loosen that up so that you can actually get it loose enough to remove it from this hose down here. I'll try to get that removed in just a second here. And it seems like we managed to get it free without too much fuss. With the air box out of the way now, it's a lot easier to get down and get access to the timing chain tensioner, just right in here. It's that bolt that you see there just to the right. Try to get my hand in there so you can see it. Oops. Right down here. One helpful tip while working in this area is to put a paper towel here, like a nice shop towel, because one, like I just did before, I accidentally dropped this extension and 19mm down into the depths, and I had to fish it out. So that's one good thing you can do, but it also will leak a little bit of oil when you start to take this thing out, because it's got oil in it still. So you're gonna wanna make sure to try to stop that from leaking onto your driveway as well. And to be honest, it's pretty difficult to get on there. It requires quite a bit of finagling. But I seem to be on there pretty securely. Just gotta try to really pull to get it unseated now. Finally got it. Whew. Man, that was in there pretty tight. So once you initially loosen it up most of the way, get your wrench out of the way, and then you'll be able to get it out the rest of the way by hand. Be careful because it's under spring tension. So, gotta be, that's the hardest part about putting it back in, is that it has a spring in here. You can see right inside of there. That spring is what's fighting you when you're trying to put it back in. So when you try to put it back in, you can lever something under your wrench, and I'll show you what I mean when I put the new item back in. So let's get a quick comparison here of the new part that I ordered from FCP Euro. Would recommend ordering from them. And let's compare that with the old part. And I always carry around a little pocket knife, just so it's easy to break into things. You never know when you might need it. So we can see here, these parts already look pretty similar. And it's already pre-lubricated. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of oil on there already. Now these, to me, look like pretty much the same part. So, glad to see that FCP Euro recommends that as an OEM replacement. For all I know, this could be an Ina part right here. So, would recommend them again. And it's definitely a little harder to push the one on the left, but then again, this one also has some oil in it and other things, so it might move a little bit more easily. The spring might be a little more worn out, so just doing this as a little bit of preventative maintenance, because again, you always want to keep the timing chain tensioners on these cars in good shape, because the timing chain guides need all the help they can get. So actually what I did here is, once I got it in there, I pushed it really hard by hand and started threading it. So you can see down here how it's out a little bit. I just push it up really hard with my left hand and slowly start threading it until I feel it seat. Then I keep pushing it as much as I can by hand until I feel like I can fit my wrench down there. And see, it's in place, not bouncing around anywhere, so it seems that we're good. Now that we have the timing chain tensioner installed, there's one other thing I need to do. First, I need to remove this beauty cover, and then replace this bad boy, because as you can see, I've taped this off, but it's actually broken. It's hard for me to get off, but there we go. You can see how this plastic bit broke off, and I did that while I was changing my radiator, and as you can see on this one, it's in perfect condition. So it's definitely something that I need to get fixed. And I also got the little O-ring or gasket for the tube here going to the throttle body, because that's so worn after 177,000 miles. It's super loose. I figure I should do that while I'm in there. Always nice to do cheap little things while you're in there, because it'll keep your car running better for a longer amount of time, and you won't have to spend money and extra time to go back and do it later. Now all I want to do is take these two hose clamps off, which is a fairly simple process. You just get your 1/4 inch. I gotta take this one off too, so that I can put the MAF onto the other one that I have. So I got that off. Can set it aside here for a second. And now we got this guy off. You can wiggle it free. There it is. As you can see, just over time, it's a good idea to replace. Got some coolant on there from when I was changing the radiator. And just, oh man, look how gross this thing is. This is just awful. It's all deformed, pushed up in some places. It's not even perfectly circular. It's just not very good. Can't wait to get the replacement on there. So I cleaned out the new intake tube with a paper towel and blew some compressed air through there, just to make sure that there wasn't anything bad sitting in there from when it was sitting. Here's a new gasket here that'll go right over where the throttle body is, and you can see it's got this nice little groove, and it'll sit in that groove there instead of the old one, which was definitely not sitting in the groove. Wow, this one is just already so much tighter. It's actually kind of hard to even get on, but there we go. That seats so much better. Wow, it's kind of sad how happy I am over really simple little things like that, but it's really nice when you get your car looking that much better. I can hook up these little hoses. There we go. It's a nice click, just to reassure me that it's on there correctly. And this doesn't seem to be fitting very well at the moment, so I'll have to try loosening it up to see if I can get it on. Took a little convincing, but it finally went on. So, man, that's so much better already. While I was putting this back together, I figured I would test fit it with this box. So I actually fit the box to this guy first before tightening this up, so I can make sure it all fit properly for when I need to get everything reassembled. So now we'll tighten this guy back down, nice and snug, not going anywhere. And then I'll just put the air filter back in there. It's not too difficult, just slides right on in. Push this back just a little bit to get it seated properly. And then you just push these all back up again. It should be all tight, put together, and good to go. And I can't forget to put the beauty cover back on either. Ooh, that thing falls off every time. Just put it neatly there. Put it on top. Align it. Push it down until you hear a click. Now that we're finished with this thing, let's start it up. Ooh, now that sounds good. No sloppy noises, everything seems okay. Better go check the side where we did the work. Gotta make sure that we don't see any leaking down there. I don't see any oil spewing out. Looks good to me. And it's purring. And that is how you change the timing chain tensioner on a BMW 540i, as well as changing the gasket that goes to the throttle body and the MAF to throttle body intake tube. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.